Okay, we'll have Mykel here, and he wants to go straight to questions. We'll start over here on the left-hand side.
Mykel, Zach Klein from Channel 2. Good seeing you again in Atlanta. Are you a technology guy when it comes to learning? This year, the league is allowing iPads on the sideline during games. Carson didn't know that. Didn't know if you knew that, and how do you think that would help you, or could it be information overload for someone like yourself?
No, yeah, I feel like that's really going to be a huge help for us, especially like in-game adjustments. That's why I feel like it's going to serve its most value, and I feel like I can't wait to use that. It's going to be exciting.
Stay on the right side.
Mykel, Eric Bailey with the Tulsa World. Oklahoma's entering the SEC this season. What can they expect out of conference road games, and what's been the toughest road game venue that you've played in during your career?
I feel like Oklahoma should expect like loud fans, loud stadiums, tough, hard-nosed, physical opponents, and just good games in the SEC. Like it's tough in the SEC. And I'll say my toughest road game probably had to be Auburn from last year. Like we went there, it was loud. They was real good at home, and we went and we played, and it was a great game. It was a great game there at Auburn.
Front row here.
AP Stedham, AP and Kelly, as we see at syndicated radio. Mykel, what was the toughest quarterback you competed against last year, and why?
Last year? That's a great question. It may have been Auburn because they were in a dual quarterback, a two quarterback system, and both quarterbacks provided something different. One of them was both of them could run. One of them more of a passer though, one of them more of a runner, and so I believe it may have been Auburn.
Left side on the end.
Ben Bobick, Local 3 in Chattanooga. Talking with Coach Smart and Malachi, they'd mentioned, I was asking about Cole Spear, and he said just how he's grown as a person and a leader and Coach Smart mentioned how much of a locker room leader he is. What does he provide for this locker room, and do you see him playing a big role for this team this fall?
I do. He comes in with great energy, man. He ready to work. That's what I like about him. And I feel like he can come in and play. I feel like he's going to play this year. Like he's gonna have a great role and help us a lot. So.
We'll go to the back row.
Mykel, Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. I'd love to hear about who else on the defensive line has been impressing you this offseason. Anybody you think could have a breakthrough among your teammates?
We got a variety of guys this year, especially with our young guys. We got a lot of good young guys that I feel really kind of like the whole class we brought in. I kind of feel like they can come in and step up and play because they got here early and they learned a lot. And they're able to help us. But I feel like the main guys this year are going to be like kind of what it's been. Like Christian Miller, Warren Brinson, Nas Stackhouse, Jordan Hall, like all those guys that has been there, I feel like they're gonna step up and make it happen this year.
Stay on the left side.
Mykel, do you remember your welcome to Georgia Kirby Smart moment where you're like, yeah, it's not Columbus anymore?
Oh yeah, Broderick Jones, man. I very rarely get pancaked, man. Broderick Jones pancaked me, and I was livid about it, man. I was highly upset. Yeah.
The standard is awful high at your school. Is that a challenge, or is it something you guys enjoy, having such a high standard?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure, the high standard of Georgia football. It's always there. Is that a source of pride?
Oh yeah, we really appreciate having that standard here. It gives us something to grasp and something to aspire to, and the standard helps us play to our full potential and be who we're gonna be.
Front row.
Mykel, what have you done to become a better player? And what do you want to put on display to the folks they haven't seen yet from Mykel?
I've been working constantly this offseason at improving my pass rush ability and my run stopping ability, and also my flexibility period and having the ability to bend around corners and edges. So I hope that goes on display this year.
We'll go in the back again.
Mykel, you were very highly touted coming out of high school. You had options. What was it about Georgia that made them the right choice?
The atmosphere I got when I went to a game that really changed my thinking process about how I thought about Georgia and how I felt about Georgia. And then I actually let them to recruit me and seeing like what they were about and how the culture was here and how connected everybody was and how everybody was team oriented and wanted to win and everybody wanted the same goals. That really got me here.
So we have a couple more minutes. Anybody have any more questions? Yes, we'll go back here on the front row.
Mykel, when you first arrived at Georgia, what was the complicated level of the defense? Is it something that takes you a while to learn? I mean, when did you feel that you learned it? After a year, that first year, a year and a half?
After my first spring here. Like, it took me like just spring. The way, we got a lot of defensive calls. We got a huge defense, with crazy package, but the way they break it down and install it to you and put everything in families, it makes it so simple and quick to learn. Like, if you really want to learn it, it's simple to learn.
Front row on the right.
I'm just curious. Are you familiar with Oklahoma at all? Their history, their tradition, or Brent Venables at all?
I am familiar with Brett Venables. I remember DC at Clemson recruited me for a while, but I'm not too familiar with Oklahoma and their history. But I'm excited they're in the SEC though. He's just a great coach, a great defensive coordinator, great defensive mind. Yes, sir.
We'll go on the left side on the end.
Kennedy Wright with CBS 42. What is one personal goal that you have coming up this season, and what is the game plan to kind of attain that?
One personal goal I have this year is to win a lot of games. And the game plan behind it is to go in week in and week out and do the things necessary to win.
Final question here on the file.
Mykel, WALB, Aaron Mukes. Being from Columbus, there's always a lot of talk about South Georgia football. What does that signify to you?
Football is different in the South. It's hotter in the South. Like, just how we go about things in South Georgia is different. It's tougher, I feel like. So football in South Georgia is different, and I guess I'm a product of that. Yeah.
Mykel, thank you very much.
Thank y'all for having me.